All right, this is gonna be a replay review for EDEdDNEdDYFaN. This is actually a pretty entertaining game. It's on Fighting Spirit. Fighting Spirit is much different from other standard 4-player maps. The third base being enclosed makes it for a different dynamic than other maps, but we'll still try to cover on what you did wrong, etc. Okay, so it looks like we're going for a 12 Nexus build. Cool, a fan favorite. And this should cross scout. This should be a cross scout. The reason being is, or actually, yeah, it depends on what variation you're doing, but okay, yeah. If you had gone cross first, you would have been able to tell that he's going CC, or he's going no gas CC, and in doing so, you don't need the second gateway. You can get your tech up faster, you can build more probes, you don't have to cut any. You could have saved money on the second gateway. That's why people scout cross first, because Terran has no, or sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. They scout cross first because even if Terran was going one fact expand, they know that with cross spawn that they don't have a good window to punish you or kill your expansion. So that tells Protoss to play a little more greedy. Instead of one zealot, or excuse me, 2 zealots, they can just make 1 and not have to cut probes, and that's way better for your economy. If you scout, if you find out he's not here and he's in one of these positions, then you have to commit to building zealots and to hold off the inevitable attack. So that's why you cross spawn first. Sorry, cross scout, and in doing so, you would have found that he's going for CC first, in which case you could have canceled and grown your tech faster. You want, with 12 Nexus, you don't need this pylon here. You want gas first and then core. There's a variation where you go zealot, pylon, gas, core. I don't really love that one, but especially in this situation, you don't need this pylon. Because look, your supply is about to be 1834. You have a, I can't do math. That's 16 free supply that's not needed. You want to send 4 probes over to the, oh, you don't send probes. You need to send about 4 probes over to your natural. That helps the mine distribution a lot more efficient. Okay. Okay, looks like you sent Zealot there to harass. Fancy, okay. Okay. Looks like you made, sorry, I'm skipping over some details here. So you sent the Zealot out to harass. In general, oh, you sent one Zealot earlier and then the Zealot afterward. I generally don't like that. Sorry, it's late, so I apologize. It's not very polished. So you see that this he's going CC first, in which case you don't need these zealots at all. You could just have this one, cancel these. Those should have been canceled. They won't serve you any purpose. This harassment's okay. In general, this is going to be held off a lot more cleanly by the Terran, or it's going to be hard for you to do damage basically with their SimCity. I would just set this back at home, and then use it for like a Reaver drop or something, or to clear mines. But I wouldn't have said that, especially cross spawn. Definitely, you need a pylon here so that if they go for rush, you can build shield battery or wall off. Oh, my bad. That was weird. That was the one instance where the pylon didn't show up. Okay, so you did have one. That's good. I was like, wait, what am I selecting? That's crazy. Okay. Build Dragoons. You also know that two things. One, with a faster CC, he doesn't, his tech is going to be delayed too, so you don't need this range quite so fast. You could get Robo faster and get Ops. What was the other thing I wanted to say? Yeah, you don't need range. Always try to get Ops faster than... Oh yeah, that's right. So if you do see that he is going tech, like gas, factory, and then expand, then range is a fine choice. But if he's going CC first, you know his tech is delayed. Getting Robo is better in the situation. With 12 Nexus also, this gas needs to be a lot earlier. You need gas around 4 minutes because you spend a lot on gas units and also tech. And unlike 1 gate tech, which you have a lot of gas early, with 12 Nexus, you don't have a lot of gas at your disposal. So you need to take that gas a lot faster. Looks like you take your third here. Pluses and minuses. Plus is that it's hard to scout. They're not going to know about it very easily. You could trick them to thinking you're doing a 2-base all-in. Problem is that they it makes it hard for them to... excuse me. It makes it hard for you to defend. If they had like a drop ship with siege tanks, like it would have been near impossible for you to defend this base. So drawbacks, but not bad. Okay, so what is your game plan at this point? At this point, you're thinking to yourself, okay, it got away with a 12 Nexus. He has a fast CC, but the 12 Nexus gives me the advantage overall. If he had went 14 CC, then I'd say it's about even, but he went Rax CC, so you're just a bit ahead. Your thinking is, okay, I want to preserve my lead / grow it. I also want to prevent him from killing me. When you're growing a lead or an economic advantage, that translates to an army advantage later on, but there is like a brief window where there is a brief window where you are weak if you're not prepared for it. So at this point with this observer, I want to know, okay, is he going a third command center? Or is he going for like a 6-fact timing? Is he going to try to kill me on the spot? Or is he going to try to grow his economic lead too and catch up? And that's not ideal. You definitely want to keep that alive, obviously. And this is really risky if you don't know what he's doing. If he's gone for a 6-fact, then actually it might have been okay since you had the 12 Nexus advantage. Either way, I would love to have confirmed what he's doing first before starting this. It's just the safer route, I think, overall. But we do see a third base, so this ends up being the right choice. So because of the map layout, it's really hard to attack into Terran, right? It's impossible to attack into this, but at the same time, for him to move out is really difficult too. He has to move out this narrow choke. You can form a huge arc. He's going to be really nervous. So it's hard for him to punish you if you are greedy. In which case, I would take this corner here. Take this. Anything with the high ground, except maybe this, but definitely take this. This puts a lot of pressure. Just taking the rest of the map even puts a lot of pressure on Terran, making him think that, oh, I'm growing my economic lead here, but if I sit on my butt, even just on 3 bases, he's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bases. Especially once you max out, which you will in the next 2 minutes. And your macro is very good, by the way. And pro count's a little high, but that's not what won or lost you the game. It's a little high. You want about 65 to 70. So you're not that far off, but it's a little high. Once you get to 200, just spend all your money on like Nexus, 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 Cannon, 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 Gateway, 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 more gateways. Just overwhelm him with infrastructure, and while you're mining the map. As strong and powerful as Terran units are, they can't beat infinite Protoss units. Yeah. So that's my goal. That's my thinking. Also, we want Arbiter Tech ASAP. I think we're a little bit late on that. We want to start the start gate and the Templar archives at exactly the same time. Once they both finish, because their build time is approximately the same, then you can build the Arbiter Tribunal. Also, I want an observer right here to see when or if he's going to move out. We know he's not going to move out any time like right now because he has his third base, so he needs more time to build up his factories and whatnot. But I want to know, still in general, when he's going to move out. So a little blind at the moment, but everything else looks pretty good. This is a good position. Okay, so this is good. You fend off Vulture Harass. You don't need all these goons here. You could just kill this pylon here, add a gate, add like 2 cannons here, and maybe 1 more cannon here. That's going to defend plenty. The reason for 2 cannons at your mineral line is that if he drops with a dropship, then you have defense here. But these goons are better off with your army. This is also a lot of goons. You should only have 2 groups of goons max. Max. 1.5 is the ideal sweet spot, I would say, is where I usually see most players have. 2 is okay, but any more is overkill. They're much better. Those are much better spent on zealots. It'll make your army much better balanced if you had more zealots. So this is good. I just want to take. Okay, you can see here what the problem is. Hold on. Let's see what happened. Let's analyze what happened. So we move the goons here, which is good, because we know that's the only area he can push out of. And we definitely want map control in this area, and then so we can secure this area of the map and take those bases. Okay, so far so good. I would have liked a group of goons here, group of goons here, like this general area. So no matter what area he pushes, you like can surround him, and he can't like sneak up on you. He can't like just push. If you're all here, he can't just push this way and sneak up on you, etc., etc. Have you all your bases covered? So it sounds like you got your units attacked, and you're thinking, oh gosh, okay, I need to attack now. That's the #1 way to get into really bad fights with Terran. Even if you're attacked first, just back off, reposition better, and then take a better fight. Right now, you can see like your goons are like in this single file line. There's 2 problems. One, they're like going into the single file here, and it's going to make it really easy for tanks to kill your goons. The second problem is that you don't have enough zealots. Like you only have 6 zealots here, and they're only going to absorb so many shots from tanks before the goons become the primary target. So I would not have taken this fight. It looks okay because he doesn't have his entire army here. All the way back here. He only has what? 9 tanks here. So if you clear this, it's kind of okay, but Terran just trades so cost efficiently, especially if your positioning is bad or you don't have the right army comp. Okay, let's see how... I just want to watch this battle to illustrate my point. I would back off here way sooner. Even if you don't know that there's tanks back there, as soon as you realize, oh, wow, God, there's way more tanks, there's way more army, you need to back off because those tanks aren't going to do damage. Sorry, those goons aren't going to do enough damage. Yeah. So, you got 1, 2, you got 12. I'm not counting zealots because the goons are the expensive, important unit. 12. 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. So 24 plus 4 is 20. You have 28 goons. That's a lot of goons. That's more than enough. But let's see what happens to these goons. Okay, right here, I say to myself, okay, I got some damage, killed some tanks. This might be time to back off. I have no zealots. Even if they do kill these 4 tanks, they're gonna... These goons are taking so much damage. It's not cost effective at this very point in time. And I've just backed off. You can see, look how many more goons died because you stayed. So it's not ideal. Even if it was an ideal fight to start with, you still did some damage. I would have backed off a lot earlier. And right then and there, you lost 28 goons. He lost 9 tanks, I think. So definitely not cost efficient. 1 because of the positioning. The other 2. Because there's no zealots in the army. Your goons are the damage dealers, but they die very quickly if there's no zealots. I'm also kind of tired, so I don't know if I mentioned this, but in case if I didn't, what you want to do in terms of positioning, your army looked like it was attacking like this, like in a single file line like this. What you want to do is you spread your army out like this first, and then go, you spread your army like this, like 1 group of goons, 2 groups of goons, group of goons here, and some zealots maybe here. Or, goons here, zealots here, and then go 1A, 2A, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A once the Terran moves out. Otherwise, the single file line, they're going to get way more damage than they would have if you had just spread your army out. So he kills your army, and this is really, really troublesome because now goons take a long time to rebuild, and now in the window that you don't have goons out on the map, he can take map control and he can secure this side of the map now. That's the price that you pay for losing your entire army. Losing your entire army as Protoss is game losing. It is for Terran too, but I mean, it goes both ways. I mean, but in a split map situation, that favors Terran. So losing all your goons right there, even though you max really quickly, it's not great because he has a window of opportunity to take map control now. These arbiters, I think it's a cool idea that you have 3 Stargates to catch up on arbiter count, but it's more important to have your arbiter out a lot earlier rather than doing this because you need energy, right? And energy takes time to build up, and therefore the arbiter needs to be out for longer. So yeah, getting your arbiter out on time is very important. And that'll help you fight these big armies because once both players' supplies gets really high, You absolutely need some stasis in order to even stand a chance against Terran. So, okay. But you can see you don't build your archives until much later, about 2-3 minutes later. Because like right after this fight, like you could have an arbiter already out by now. That's the detail or the optimization I would focus on too, is just getting your arbiter out on time, because that'll help you in the fights. So again, I would have backed off, and preserve your goon count. Wait for arbiters to come. Wait for stasis energy to come. Have your zealots ready, and then make an attack. Or yeah, make an attack if he comes out. That's the optimal ideal situation. And behind that, taking these bases. I know that takes a lot of multitask, but that's kind of what you're shooting for. But here, because we lost our army, that makes it a lot harder to obtain. Also, another big problem is our lack of vision. So there's this flash tutorial that he says as Protoss at 9 minutes, what he likes to do, he just makes 5 observers. He makes 5 observers, and he sends like one here, one here, one here, and like one here, basically. And what's he looking for? He's basically map hacking for free. He wants to know with these 5 observers what area Terran is gonna push out of, and when he's gonna take this 4th base. So he wants to know every move Terran's doing. Terran's scariest thing from a Protoss's point of view is that if Terran can, let's say this. Protoss's scariest thing that can happen is that they set up excellent positioning and just siege your base without you being able to stop it. Imagine, if you will, I know this is not how the game is right now, but let's say, just imagine for just 1 second that your army isn't out here, it's like at your base here, and then all of a sudden you see, just out of nowhere, 12 siege tanks here, spider mines set up here, and missile turrets and whatever nonsense, and they're sieging out this base here. If you see that, and if that's the first thing you see, that base is pretty much as good as dead. You're not going to be able to defend it unless if you had, your stasis, your everything ready. But usually, if you don't stop Terran, or if you don't notice Terran doing that until it's too late, then this base is as good as dead. That is why Protoss needs observers all around the map, so they can know when Terran moves out and either slow that push down or at least be very ready for when it happens. So this lack of vision is deathly as well. Okay, this is actually a perfect example. This is a perfect example of what just happened. So, sorry, I didn't scrub it to the exact right point in time, but we'll get there. So let's see from your vision. Okay, you see this? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Out of nowhere, there's vultures. Okay, just vultures, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Whoa, where did all these tanks come from? Oh my god. And now we got caught with our pants down. the rest of our army is lagging. We're not ready because of some of our units are up here. You can see that these are lagging behind. If you had seen this coming, then you've been a lot more ready. You've been like, okay, I need to kill this pylon. I need to get my arbiters. And then once you get a good position, then you'll be able to commit to the attack. But it's very easy. I understand, like, oh my god, Terran's here. You go into this panic mode and attack. I get it. We all been there. But this is a surefire way to lose your army in a really cost-inefficient way. You can see he's just melting your units. Now, I think you get a nice zealots around, so that's really good. But you can see you lost a lot more than you could have or should have if you had better vision. So it's pretty good. You're still in a good spot, honestly. You cleared his army, but your goal is the same. By the way, this base is free. This base is super free. You have enough vision here, and if you had another observer here, you could tell if he's going to go for this. But yeah, this is essentially free. It's so hard for him to get to, so hard for him to defend. I have taken that. Look how much money you have. You have money to make units and to spare. Use your money to make a nexus. But right now, again, we don't have vision of this area here. We don't know what he's doing. This is good. We're sending a probe out to try to take this area of the base too, but we don't know if he's taking this. And at this point, I would love to see recall. Arbiters are good, but they're even with stasis, it's impossible to attack up this ramp or even pose a threat unless if you're recalling. So recall is going to be your friend here. He let you take this base. He let you get away with it. Usually there's going to be a vulture here to snipe it, but we'll take what we can get. Okay. So I would love to have used this observer first to look around to see where his army is and then commit to attack. Committing early, it can work out like this. You can get lucky, but your rely on luck is usually it's not reliable. I would try to use an observer, see where his army is, and then make an attack rather than, oh, I ran to his army, oh my gosh, let's attack. And then it working out. Let me just watch this again just to make sure that's exactly what happened. I'm not making a fool of myself. Because that's kind of how I saw that happen. So either way regardless, you want vision on this area of the map. Because, okay, yeah, this is, yeah, Because look at this. If you looked for this army earlier, or if you like took your time to scout his army earlier, you could stasis here or here, and then spread your army out. You can see it's going this single file line again. Spread out like this, like along this line here, and then attack. It would have gone a lot better. Okay. That just illustrates my point. These tanks shot like 3 or 4 volleys, 3 or 4 or 5 volleys before you stasis them. Imagine if they were stasis first and out of the fight. Then you have cleaned this up so much more cleanly. Your upgrades are a lot better than his. Usually Terran wins if they can get to 2-2 or 2-3 or 3-2. But he's still at 0-1, so you're still in a fantastic spot. I would build cannons here. I would take this base here. You can see that he's going for this base here from the SCV movement. At this stage in the game, once Terran's is on 3 bases, you're like established 3 bases, your goal is thinking, I don't want to attack Terran head on, because at higher supplies, their power grows exponentially. They are attackable at lower supplies, but when it gets to higher supplies like this, they just trade too cost efficiently, especially if there's mines, turrets everywhere. So your goal is to figure out where's Terran and where do I attack that they are. You attack where they are not at. It sounds like a very cowardly way to play, but it's the most intelligent way to play. Where are they at? And then figure where they're at, and then attack somewhere else. What do I mean by that? You use your ob, and you see if they're like along this edge here, then you can't attack this. Or if you can, you have to be very careful and position well, stasis some, make sure you get a good clean fight. But if you don't want to attack that, then recall here. Recall. Shut this base down. 2 missile turrets isn't going to stop an arbiter recall. Shut this down. This actually looks kind of scary to attack. He didn't place as many spire mines as he could have, but this looks messy to attack. Doesn't look great. And plus, Fighting Spirit's ridges, these walls, make it really hard, or they like bug the AI. It's really troll. So recall here, or recall here too. Just recall. He's gonna have to, 3 things isn't gonna do anything. He's gonna have to unsiege, move vultures, tanks, move them, then they're super slow, they move out here. They're not gonna be able to save this in time. Even if they do, then you've traded very well. You've killed a bunch of SCVs, shut down this mining operation for, a minute or 2? While you take this expansion and grow your economy exponentially. And then once he moves his army here, where can you attack? And I know we have to use our imagination here. Let's say he moves everything to here, or this general area, to defend. His bulk of his army is going to be here. Where can you attack? It's going to be empty here, and you can attack here. He actually has quite a bit of money left here. You can attack here, and he's going to be out of position to defend. Or you can set up another recall here. Once his army is even over here, it's going to be even slower for them to reinforce back up here. So just like how Terran caught you with your pants down, you want to catch Terran with their pants down. That's why vision and scouting, or vision in general, is so important. Is so you can create. Denial of vision creates these opportunities. Having vision prevents their opportunities. That's why it's so important. But it looks like from the rest of this game, you just kind of attack Terran head on, and you are experienced enough to know that attacking Terran head on it just sucks. It can work out, but it's usually not in your favor. You have to set things up to make it in your favor, like stasising, getting good flanks, making good arc, but just A moving's not going to work out in your favor. And because you lost your whole army, they have a really good chance to siege this, and then take these 2 bases, secure half the map, and then take the rest of the game. The only way to win a split map situation is to have carriers. Carriers flips the win condition for Protoss. Oof, that's tough. Meaning that usually Terran's on the timer to kill Protoss before they get too big. But Protoss is making carriers, then the narrative flips. Wait, is that what I'm saying? No, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Usually, okay, I'm contradicting myself. So let me explain something real quick. So back in 2020, 2021, usually the meta at the time was 12-minute Arbiter bust. And so around then is when Terran would start their third base, or start mining from their third base. They would start to get their upgrades of getting like 1-1 or 2-2, and then start to really exponentially grow from there. Protos's win condition from there is to kill the third base around the 12 to 13 minute mark before they can reach that point. Because as we know, once Terran reaches above like 130, 140 supply, they're exponentially strong and they can't be killed. So the goal was to try to hit them around 120 supply. But once they reach higher than that, it's too difficult to kill them. Now, that was like the central meta back in 2021. Now it's a little bit different. There's a lot more guerrilla tactics, but in some ways, yeah, it is kind of flipped. So Terran wants to kill Protoss before he's able to take the whole rest of the map. So that kind of makes sense. The other way, yeah, so there's two flip the script win conditions now. Terran wants to kill Protoss before they're able to establish mining bases throughout the entire map, or they're going to try to kill Protoss before they reach 6 to 8 carriers. 6 to 8 carriers is a win condition. Once you have that, it's really hard to stop. Or if it is possible to stop, but Terran has to be very cost inefficient with it. Sorry, that was kind of a long ramble. But hope that makes sense. So Terran's on a timer now. It's on Terran to try to kill Protoss. That's a lot of goods. And but Protoss is trying to defend, and it makes it that much harder when Arbiters are EMP'd, they don't have any energy. You can see you have a very sizable chunk army with great upgrades, and his upgrades aren't as good as yours. But Terran, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's just too cost inefficient. If you gotten like 2 stasis off before you fought that army, then it would look very different. But yeah, I hope that helps. So in essence, you want vision everywhere. You want to know where they're making their moves, and you want to position your army better to fight better. You don't want to be surprised going to fights or defending against fights. The second thing is that you want to attack where they are not. Either recall here, recall there, attack them from the inside out. Don't attack head on versus head on. It's the unintelligent thing to do because of how Terran operates. Terran wants you to attack into the core of their army. That's what they would love for you to do. But you're smarter than that. You want to run around. You want to avoid the fights until you can attack them head on with stasis and storm, or you attack their bases where they're weak, where they're not defended, and you whittle them down little by little until they have nothing. That's how you go about it. Looks like you fought into them multiple times and you lost those fights. That's how things go when you attack into Terran like that. That's not surprising, and that's going to cause you to lose the game for sure. And it looks like we're not going to have observers here, so these are going to die to mines. Yup, sucks. It's very sad. But yeah, this is very in line with what happens. You make 3 carries here. Kind of too little too late. He did bust the base here. You kept this one, which is good, but he's going to be able to bust this too. And you just lose too much army here. And 3 carriers isn't scary. You need 6 to 8 for it to be like a critical mass. 3 isn't enough for it to cause a threat. You got another EMP. Have your arbiters spread out in different control groups so it's harder for them to EMP them. But yeah, he just kills your economy here. You're going to be on 1 base mining. He's going to be on 1 base, 2 base, and he's just going to slowly get Goliaths and then expand to this and then slowly choke you out from there. So don't like this carrier switch. I like the arbiters, but save them, save their energy, get their stasis out, or recall. You make good use of your arbiters. Okay, I think that's enough. All right, thanks. Hope that was helpful. Take care.